Hello YouTube. You've got a meal prep video this week because for once I've actually managed to get my arse into gear to actually make a meal prep. I have been awful at getting lunches ready for work. It's always been a last minute thing, or oh quick, leftovers, throw it in a thing, enjoy. So I've actually managed to get my arse into gear to make a meal prep this week. Also, this is because I've got a cauliflower sitting here, which is a little bit worse for wear. Normally I would use all of the kind of greens, but you can see they're like super soft and yeah, it is well past its best. But still, there's no point wasting it. If that's to go into the bin, it's a complete waste because if you just take the greens off, if you cut off the dark spots, it's absolutely fine. So I'm taking something that would have otherwise ended up in the bin and using it so that it doesn't get wasted. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do a salad. Now, it's autumn, apparently. Why on earth am I doing a salad this time of year? Well, Edinburgh can't seem to make up its mind what the weather's doing at the moment because it goes from blazing sunshine to chucking down with rain. And I'm trying to get better at salads because I'm really bad at salads. I'm awful at them. I don't know how to put them together. I don't know what to put in them. It's one of my kind of like blind spots. I'm really bad with salads. So I'm trying to get better at it. And this is kind of an effort to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm going with a kind of, I don't know, recipe-ish. In that I'm going with like a big handful of some kind of leafy green. I'm going with some kind of grain to make it a bit more hearty because ultimately it might be nice weather, it might be rubbish weather. I'm going with some vegetables, so that is going to be the cauliflower, and I was going to leave it at that, and then like some kind of crunchy thing on top, like nuts or seeds. And that's what I was going to leave it as. So for the greens, I have got some Savoy cabbage in the fridge. It's good for this time of year because it's quite hearty. It can still be done as a salad if you cut it like really fine, so like shred it really fine. I quite like it in a salad like that. So I've gone for that, rather than going for something like lettuce, which if you cut it in advance, it goes brown and it goes slimy and it goes horrible. Baby spinach, the same, it just doesn't last as long. This is something I can like make in advance and it's not going to go too horrible. For the grain, I am going for pearl barley. I really like it. You can do lentils, there's all kinds of things like that, like couscous, but yeah, I don't know. I've got pearl barley in the fridge, in the cupboard. It's another thing that I can use up and I really like it. So I've gone for that. And then obviously the veggies, I've gone for the cauliflower. Now, what I've done with the cauliflower is I've just chopped it into big chunks, given it a good wash after I've kind of cut all the black spots off, and then I've added in some white onion. And then to give it a bit of flavour and a bit of colour and to season it, I'm using a little bit of oil just to get everything to stick, some black pepper and some salt. Pretty much everything in this has some like salt and pepper in it just for seasoning. And then I'm kind of going for an Indian-ish inspired route. So I'm going for turmeric, garlic powder because I put garlic powder in pretty much everything, and then I'm going for nigella seeds and sesame seeds. Now this is inspired by a place called Planet Cuckoo who do cuckoo, and their cauliflower cuckoo is my all-time favorite. I absolutely love these things. And on top of them, they finish it with nigella seeds and sesame seeds. So I figured, you know, give it a go in this and see what happens. And hopefully, because I haven't really eaten it yet, I've tried a little bit out of the oven and it tastes amazing, but so far it's good. I'm looking forward to eating all of it. So what I've done is I've just spread it out onto a tray and I've chucked it into the oven. It was at 150 degrees, I think it was, for about 20 minutes. So I've kept like the little bits on the inside, the bigger bits on the outside, because the little bits will cook quicker. And then you've got some charred bits, some not charred bits, and it makes like a nice kind of mix. And then that is the Savoy cabbage. What I've done with that is, it was, again, because it's been sitting in the fridge for a bit, it was a bit kind of sad and past its best. So what I've done is I've shredded it, and I just soaked it in some cold water while everything else was kind of cooking and doing its thing. And then last of all, there is the grains. So it's just plain cooked pearl barley with a good amount of salt and pepper in it, and then to give it a bit more flavour, because, you know, so far it's cabbage and that it's not a lot of kind of flavour. What I'm doing is I am putting in some lemon juice, because lemon and like the whole Indian flavours and cauliflower goes really well together, so lemon juice in there. And then I'm also going to put some baby tomatoes. Again, gives it a bit of colour, because so far you'll see when I start layering it, it's like pale green, brown. It doesn't look very colourful. So putting some tomatoes in there, just so, like, trying to keep in mind, like, eat the rainbow, have some kind of colour in there, something a bit different. I'd put some like herbs in this as well if I had any, but unfortunately I didn't plan that far in advance. I'm not doing that well at meal prep this week, so, you know, this is as good as it gets. But it gives it a bit of colour, it adds a bit of extra flavour to it, a bit of freshness because it's fresh tomato, it's something a bit different. So layering it, I'm doing it the opposite to how I normally would. So normally when I make things, I put all of the kind of liquid bits at the bottom, all of the kind of soft veg at the bottom, and then put the leaves on top. But because this is Savoy cabbage and it's quite hardy, you can just put it on the bottom. It's not going to go funny. It's not going to, you know, start going all slimy like lettuce. And then on top of that, I'm putting the grains and the tomatoes. There isn't a whole lot of the grains. It's just to kind of bulk it out a little bit. It is mostly cabbage at this point. And then on top of that, I am putting the roasted cauliflower. Now, this is the point where I'm like, you know, nuts and seeds, what kind of thing could I put on top of it to give it, you know, that extra bit of crunch, that extra bit of dimension? I've got some toasted coconut in the cupboard. Brilliant, because, you know, coconut, Indian flavours, yes, brilliant, let's do that. So this was me thinking, you know, I'll just leave it at that. That's absolutely fine. But then it's like, actually, that's going to be kind of dry, because, you know, it's just dry veg, which is a bit rubbish. And this is where I struggle with salads, because I'm like, yeah, it's all right, but now what? Dressing. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a really simple yogurt based dressing. I've got the Alpro Greek yogurt, which is super thick. I love this stuff for like desserts and just eating in general. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, put some soy milk in there, some lemon juice, and also some mint sauce. I know that sounds really, really weird, but rather than dealing with fresh herbs, which go off, they go funny, especially with mint, because I don't use a whole lot of it, I tend to go with mint sauce. So if you use like a little bit of it, if you're sensible with it, rather than chucking loads in, it actually really works. So I've just put a tiny bit in there with the yogurt, and it comes out like a mint yogurt. It's absolutely fine. And the great thing about the mint sauce is it lasts forever, rather than going funny in the freezer, because I find that mint doesn't last in the freezer. I don't use it quick enough when it's fresh. It's just one of those ones that gets wasted. So yeah, mint sauce is the way forward for me. And there you have it. That is my attempt at the salads. It's all right. I think I could do better. I think it needs more colour, but you know, this is the whole point of this, that, you know, I make these videos not only to inspire other people, but also to inspire myself and to push myself to make new and different things. So if you've got this far from my ramblings, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm sure we will see you again soon. Bye!